If we're not in a recession, then I can't tell. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Americans fleeing to Mexico to be able to afford food. That's right, Mexico, for food. Now, I've heard about Americans going to Mexico for prescription drugs and things of that nature, okay, but some of the pill mills and whatnot, but food and other things, not just food. This lets you know that America's dealing with some serious problems, okay? The Biden administration want to talk about, well, everything's all right. We're not really going through a recession. I can't tell. If you got Americans going over there to get basic things like food, there's a problem. Now, before I go any further, let's go ahead and roll the clip. In this clip, you're going to see and hear from Americans, from Mexicans about the situation, what they're actually getting over there aside from food. And after we get done watching that, I'll come back. I'll talk about what was said there. Then I'll give you the rest of my 2 cents and my deep, detailed analysis. And then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
For the 7th straight month, food prices in the U.S. have gone up, which means Americans are looking elsewhere, like even in other countries, for their favorite foods.
If you're on a budget, you got to take care of yourself.
Like Gibran Jimenez, who drove nearly 2 hours to get to Tijuana with a wife, 2 children, and a third due next month. He says he needs all the financial help he can get.
I got to save as much as I can. Every penny counts.
And we walked with David and Maria McCarty across the border. They came for street tacos and a routine pet checkup.
Cheaper. It's much cheaper to do it down here. Everything is a lot cheaper down in Mexico. I mean, you can go out and have a giant meal and spend about $20. And it'll cost you $100 in San Diego or Chula Vista.
California bargain hunters are shopping in Tijuana like never before. Shop owners at the popular Mercado Hidalgo have seen a 20 to 30% jump in American tourism during the weekdays. And when you look at the prices, it's easy to see why. A gallon of milk is 50% off compared to the U.S. A 4-pack of toilet paper is nearly $5 cheaper, and a 24-pack of Tylenol is also $1 less. And don't worry about the cost to get there. You may as well fill up on gas, because that's also $1.24 cheaper than the California average.
Gas prices, they're going up like crazy, and that's what kills us, the middle class.
Your money goes farther in Mexico.
All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, this is pretty crazy. It's pretty sad. Now, before anyone says the obvious, hey, ABL, Mexico, it's a poor country, things are always cheaper. Well, why is it that there's a 20 to 30% increase in American tourism during the weekday? Is it just for no reason, or is it because of what's happening here in the States? You see, people are having to seek other options. They could have done this before. If everything was so much cheaper, why not do it before? No, the reason why they're doing it right now is because things have gotten so expensive, so ridiculous, they got to go to Mexico to find everything. Medication, veterinarian visits, food, gas, everything. It's too expensive. It's to the point now where there's quite a few Americans moving to Mexico permanently. I saw an article. I didn't read the article in full. I read some of it. But the article was about Mexicans, Mexico City, complaining about all the Americans coming to the city, speaking English, and gentrifying it, raising the rent and stuff like that. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But the main thing was they're speaking English. They're not really getting involved with the local culture. They pretty much are Americans living in Mexico, still being American, right? It's funny how that works. It's funny how they complain about that. But when we say it here about foreigners, then we're somehow racist. But Mexicans in Mexico, they're not racist for saying the exact same thing, but different story. I digress. The point is that a lot of Americans are starting to seek other options aside from the USA because they realize that it's becoming a serious issue trying to feed yourself. In California, especially, oh my goodness, the prices just before the scamdemic, before all the inflation, before all the money printing, before all this stuff going on, it was still crazy in California. Like, try living in Los Angeles. Okay, you want to live in LA, even in the ghetto in LA, you're going to pay an arm and a leg for a house. I was seeing where they're talking about a house in Los Angeles. To buy one is like $500,000, and to pay that kind of money, you can be living in Watts, Inglewood, Compton. You be living with bars in your windows, Like for that money, you have a 1,200 square foot trap house, basically a bando, a very dangerous neighborhood, gunshots, gangland, all that, Bloods, Crips, Mexican Mafia, you name it, will be out there in your home that you paid $500,000 for. Or take your money and go somewhere else. Go to the South, which a lot of Californians are doing by the plane load. They're coming to Tennessee, Texas, Georgia. They're coming to the entire U.S. of A. to escape California. And the sad part is to do the exact same thing they did in California. They're probably doing that in Mexico as well. All right. They take their California socialism and the way they vote, the way they behave, the way they act in general, and they export it to a new place and nobody likes it. That's a problem. But the issue is that the policies in their state are forcing them to leave, and they don't even know it. They don't even understand that the way they vote, the way they operate, the way they live is not sustainable in reality. Okay, they're trying to do it in California, and it's failing. It's failing. It's a serious problem, and that California disease has now spread throughout the entirety of the USA to a certain point. You can live in certain little small towns or certain areas of the country, and it's okay. Like I was in Georgia today. I was able to get gas with 10% ethanol, unfortunately. 87 octane for like $3 and a little bit of change. Not even $3.10, like less than $3 and a dime. I think it was like 3.89, but 3.089, something like that. Still too high. I was at one point paying like $2 a gallon. So $3 is a lot better than $5, but it's still more than the $2 I was paying. But different story. I digress, getting way off topic, getting way in the rabbit hole. The point is that the California virus of very high taxes, very expensive cost of living, you can't afford your food, your gas, your clothing, your shelter. You can't afford pretty much anything, and you got to flee to elsewhere to be able to afford it. That's spreading across the entire U.S. to the point where Americans are being forced into other countries. This is why I say that having states dictate more than the federales is better. Okay, because when the federal government does a thing, you can't really escape it. You can only escape by going to a different country. But if the states do a thing, you could just leave your state and go to another one. Or you could fight to get certain laws changed in your state as a citizen of that state, as a resident of that state. It's much easier to do that on the state level than the federal level. What are you really going to get done on the federal level? You know, it's going to be very difficult to change things on that level, to change the Federal Reserve, the IRS, and that's going to be very, very hard to change versus your local town, city, state government. But as I close, I want to say this. The recession is real. It's here. People are getting very broke. And this is kind of confusing because there's quite a few jobs out there. But I think the reason why there's so many jobs is because there's so much money that is still in the system that have been printed. It's a lot of inflation money. So there's a high demand for goods, services. But the problem is the pay cannot necessarily match the new cost of living. There's so much money out there. Money has become worth less than what it was. So you may be able to get a job, but is it going to pay what you actually need to be able to make ends meet nowadays? I mean, try finding a house. Try finding a house at all right now. We have so much fake money out there, so much monopoly money, so much debt out there that we can't really sustain the level of demand. So what's going to happen is you're going to continue to see inflation, both just natural from the business and also from the Federal Reserve raising the interest rate, which they are raising the interest rates already. They're raising the interest rates. You want to buy a home? Well, you got to find one first. Then you got to pay a higher rate on your mortgage. All that's happening right now to try and reduce demand so you can have a more realistic market. And when that happens, you're going to see fewer and fewer jobs get posted. There's already a bunch of jobs that have been eliminated since the scamdemic. Okay. A lot of your Instacarts and a lot of their scamdemic jobs are starting to fade away. And you're going to see that happen more and more and more as the system begins to correct itself and as there's outside influences, outside factors, outside measures that are implemented to fix the system. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what's going on here? Americans fleeing to Mexico to be able to afford groceries, gas, vet trips. Whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I stand. This is a sign of the times. If I've never seen one before, I'm seeing it right now. It's a sign of the times. Okay? People can say whatever they want. Biden can say that there's no recession, everything's okay. But when I see things like this is the reality on the ground. You know, it's one thing to be up in the ivory tower in the sky in Washington, D.C. and view things from your point of view. Like people that come out and say, well, what's the point in paying all the money for gas? Just get an electric car. You're not even understanding what's going on. First of all, how much do those cost? Much more than your paid off 2012 Honda Civic that has about 200,000 miles on it. It's better to get new tires for your Civic than it is to go spend a bunch of money on a Tesla or any other electric vehicle. Okay. And then are these things going to be super reliable? How much does it cost really compared to what you're paying right now to put in your gas tank? And don't let one of these cars catch on fire in your garage and kill your whole family. But I'm getting too dark. But anyway, the point is that they don't understand what the average American goes through. And once you hit the streets and see what's happening and talk to people, you get a much different perspective. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.